when the narcissist can't control you anymore. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So, control, that's one of the main forces that the narcissist needs when they are looking for a target. Is that person controllable? You completely were controllable. You didn't know it. I was too. I didn't know it. I am definitely not controllable now. My hope is you aren't either. You see, breaking the ties from the narcissist is imperative. And the 4 ties that must be broken are the emotional, the financial, the physical, and of course the spiritual tie. And that is how the narcissist controlled you. Picture, if you will, a puppet, a puppeteer that is controlling a puppet, like the marionette. This, I'm acting like the narcissist, controlling, tilting, weaving, moving. That's, you were the puppet. You were the pawn. You were the indentured servant. You were the person who couldn't do anything right to save your life. You were also the person who was love bombed and being groomed and being trained and taught how to behave, how quickly to pick up the phone, when to talk, when not to, if you were supposed to be on time, to be there early, to tolerate the narcissist's poor behavior. You were taught to not trust your instincts or not to trust your intuition. You were ignoring every red flag under the sun, and you were subservient to a person who was trying to control you and lead you down to a road that ended up in Destructionsville. Now that's a long diatribe right there, but again, free flowing in the Carolina woods. You need to understand what control is. Control to somebody like you or myself, it's when you jump in the car. You tell your friend or somebody, hey, I've got the wheel, I'll drive. And they're like, cool, you got it. I'll just be chilling and I'll co-pilot. Well, see, there's togetherness. There's 2 people. One person saying, hey, I'll drive today. I've got control. The other person saying, no problem, I drove last time. That's togetherness. You will never get that with the narcissist. What you get is I, me, you. You're never going to get we, us. You don't get those things. Now, again, you didn't know any of these things back then because you weren't taught this in school. So how could you know that the person you were committed to, loyal to, and maybe even fell in love with was abusing you every waking minute of your life? You couldn't. You didn't know it until something broke. Something snapped and something gave, and that's when you figured out what narcissism was. Most likely, you didn't figure it out until the person discarded you. But if you figured it out while still in the relationship, you are one strong person. If you figured it out afterwards, you're equally as strong. It just took you a little bit longer. Side note, pro tip, I was in group 2. I didn't figure it out till the discard happened. And that's why I create videos every single day to pay it forward, to help you and give you answers to questions that you have, and to give you answers to questions or present questions that perhaps you haven't even considered yet. This is why I do what I do. Now, when the narcissist can't control you any longer, it's when the 4 ties, are officially cut. Not only are they cut, but they're severed forever. And you have gone no contact and blocked the person, the narcissist. Now, if you've done those things, you know extremely well that it served you very well. If you haven't done those things, but you're working on yourself, continue to focus on you. Continue to focus on, stay with me, what you can control. Again, all of my videos have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now I'm referencing control what you can't control. These words are some of the wisest words you will ever hear. And they're from Stoicism from thousands of years ago. I am a huge proponent of Stoicism. I was practicing Stoicism without even knowing it when I was much younger. I practiced it throughout my whole life, again, without even really knowing what it was. And then, of course, meet the narcissist. Rest is history. But when you tap into some of the fundamentals of Stoicism, like I have, and I strongly suggest you do it yourself, you will realize that controlling what you can control is necessary for you to heal. Many of us, and I was one of them, is the key word, we're holding on to something, mainly when that relationship ended. Well, what were we holding on to? We were holding on to what the narcissist promised us. We were holding on to all the moving goalposts, the future faking, the happily ever after. Maybe thinking that person actually, there was a tiny little speck of them, i.e. the narcissist, who actually cared about you. Well, now you know that little speck was nothing but smoke and mirrors. They never cared about you. They don't care about you now. They don't love you. They've never loved you. They have no empathy. They used your empathy. I'll slow down. But having said that, when you realize that the narcissist saw you and everything that makes you you. And they said, wait a minute, this person has a lot and they don't even know what they have. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I need to control this energy source. Again, I'm talking about you. What do? Oh, I'll love bomb them. And a side note, pro tip for everybody. A love bomb does not exclusively mean that the narcissist was trying to fall in love with you, or let me rephrase that, have you fall in love with them. A love bomb, what it just means is a fake person, yes, the narcissist, is showering another person, the target, with compliments or adoration or fawning all over them or just making them feel extra special. That's your love bomb. Your love bomb, for any of you out there who don't really fully grasp it, it doesn't mean that a toxic person is trying to get to fall in love with them. What it means is they're being a little too nice. They're being a little too friendly. They're being a little too kind. They're making things to appear to be a little too good to be true. Why? Because they are. Now, having said that, off the side note pro tip, control is what the narcissist they wrapped themselves around you with. You could not wake up whatever time you wanted to wake up. You had to wake up when they wanted you to wake up. You had to do the dishes and cook and clean for the narcissist. You had to pay bills. You had to put gas in their car. You had to be available to them. You had to put your exercise regime on the side. You had to cut out your friends. You had to be a good little soldier and do whatever the narcissist wanted. You had to check in with them, which is a big one, and I will create this video in the future. Checking in with the narcissist, what does that mean? It means you have to run things past them before the narcissist approves them or disapproves of them. But that's what you found yourself doing, especially at the end of the relationship, because the narcissist had surrounded themselves so much, or they surrounded you so much with themselves, meaning they were ingrained in your DNA. They were living in your mind rent-free. You were now in the narcissistic fog is the best way to say it, that you had to check in with them. Now, I can say that because that's what I was doing, checking in, making sure things were okay, making sure that the coast was clear, making sure the other shoe wouldn't drop, if only for 20 or 30 minutes. Well, now we know that the other shoe was always going to drop whenever you're surrounded by the black cloud, the narcissist, but that they knew that. So this is why no good deed goes unpunished. This is why you could never, ever make progress with the narcissist. This is why they were burning you out left, right, and center. This is why you were being peppered with abuse every single day. And this is why when the narcissist can no longer control you, it's a great thing. Now, for years, I've created videos. I'm in my 6th year of creating videos. Yes, I've been in the cycle. I was trapped, isolated, left for dead during the pandemic, but I'm out. I've healed, and here I am. And if this is the first video you're ever consuming, welcome to the community. For all of you people who've been with me since day one or the first early days in 2021, 2022 and on, thank you for being here. I sincerely appreciate it. You are my family, I am your family, and we are all in this together. And most of you have cut the ties with the narcissist. Some of you are still working on it. All of you are on the healing path, just like I am. You must remember the healing path is not linear. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. But in your time, you will heal when you utilize the tools that are provided for you with each and every video I create, and from all the insightful, intuitive, and inspirational comments from each and every one of you from all 4 corners of the globe. Without you, we wouldn't be as far as we are. But you're all contributing, which is what you should be doing, and I thank you very much. So having said that, when the narcissist can't control you anymore, this is a great thing. This is when you start to get more sleep. This is when you start to realize that that relationship wasn't as bad as you thought it was a lot worse. This is when you begin to realize that the narcissist is already off. They've been cheating on you. They've been lying to you. They've been stealing from you. And they're now showing you who they really are, which means the mask is off. This is also the pivotal part of the journey for you, and I already went through it, when you have to draw a line in the sand. You have to figure out what you're going to do. Are you going to do what the narcissist wants you to do, which is stay stuck and trapped and think that they actually do love you and miss you? No, no, no. You are going to put on your big boy or big girl pants and you're going to go to work on yourself, which is exactly what I did approximately 3 weeks after the discard. And I haven't stopped since. That's why I healed. That's why so many other people have healed, because of what I've done. That's why those people who have healed are now paying it forward to help other people out. This is a ripple effect that is gaining momentum all over the planet. You need to get on the wave of authenticity. You need to get on the wave of abundance, and you need to cut the narcissist out of your life once and for all. Once you've identified that you are in a relationship with a toxic person, you need to realize that getting away from them is imperative, and that the only person ever that will do that is you. Now, you may say, well, no, wait a minute. The narcissist, they blocked me in the past, and I'm off the radar, and they're doing whatever they're doing, and I'm safe. Well, if you didn't block the narcissist, or if you didn't do the deep dive on yourself, or if you didn't get a new phone number, or relocate, or heal childhood wounds, or watch videos, or meditate, or read, or journal, or do all the things I'm talking about, then all the narcissist has to do is hit the unblock button, and they could try to lure you back in. Not to a relationship, but into communication. That is what is known as a Hoover. You want to be off the radar of the narcissist. You want to become unhooverable, which means secure any avenue of potential communication that the narcissist had, past tense, with you. Don't take risks. Don't tempt fate. Don't take chances. Remember, the narcissist has a mind like a steel trap. Once they capture somebody and trap them in the narcissistic fog, the devaluation stage, and mainly the trauma bond, and all three of those are unique to themselves, yet equal one word, and that word is toxicity. Once they do that, they believe they own that person in perpetuity for the rest of their lives. That is not true. You need to play this part of the video multiple times. The narcissist doesn't own you. They've never owned you. You were caught up in a trauma bond. You were caught up in a relationship from hell that you didn't even know existed. It wasn't your fault. So don't believe all the false information out there on the interwebs saying that the narcissist ABC. The narcissist is pathetic. They're weak. They're cowards. They're bullies. They're shallow. They're hollow. And they know their days are numbered. They also know that they're destroying people's lives left, right, and center. And yes, they also know what they're doing. If you think for a minute they don't know what they're doing, you need to start this video from the beginning and play it on a loop all night. Play it on a loop. The narcissist doesn't love you. The narcissist doesn't care about you. The narcissist has no love. The narcissist cares about nobody other than whomever is doing something for them in any particular moment. And with the narcissist, it's out of sight, out of mind. When you're with them, they will milk you all day long, meaning they'll bleed you dry of anything, your energy, your money, your time, etc. When you're away from them, you can heal and focus on yourself. And then you won't be being controlled by an apex predator. Yes, the narcissist. This is exactly the path. The path is to cut the ties with the narcissist and go no contact, etc. When you do that, you will realize that life opens up for you. The bottleneck that was clogged and impeding your health and your progress and your growth and your prosperity and your clarity, it's now freed up. When the bottleneck is freed up, then you can see things that you couldn't see before. Now, each and every one of us has a specific bottleneck. Some of us have multiple bottlenecks. I personally had 3 big ones when I was living in a different place in a different year. I created, developed, and executed 2 5-step plans. I executed them flawlessly by myself without telling one person one detail of what I was doing. That was a wise move on my part because I didn't trust a living soul at that time. And guess what? My first 5-step plan, like clockwork. Check, 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 check. Win, Andrew, good job. The second 5-step plan I had to do 2 years later. I executed that again, flawlessly. Check, 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 check. Good job, Andrew. I am about preparing or about ready to create my third 5th-step plan. Now, truth of the matter is, I had considered doing this earlier in the year. I didn't do it because I have been out creating videos and paying it forward and nurturing the community. But I will be doing this very soon, probably in the month upcoming. But having said that, once you have a plan, and plans are instrumental, they're paramount in life, then you need to focus on executing it. That is why, again, I create videos to help you get clear in your mind so you're not going to be controlled by the narcissist any longer. When the narcissist loses control of you, what will they have to do? Well, they're going to do one of a few things. One, they're going to try to punish you to get you back in control. Well, those days are over. That's not going to happen ever again. Number 2, they may give you the silent treatment. Fine. Go sit in the corner and pout like a little child. Pathetic narcissists. The third thing they may do is discard you. Well, most likely, it will be number 3 eventually, But what I'm sharing with you is whatever the narcissist does is what they do. You can't control that. You need to control what you can control, which is this. On every day of the planet, today, every single one of us human beings has 1,440 minutes. That is what encompasses a full day on the planet. With those minutes, what do you do with your time? You should be using your time wisely. Now, again, if it's early days and let's say the relationship ended recently, or you just figured out what narcissism is, yeah, well, it's going to take a little bit longer. Truth of the matter is it's going to take longer. You're going to have to go much slower and learn the definitions in the glossary on the narcissistic abusive cycle and so much more. But for those of you who understand what triangulation is, gaslighting, all those things, and you know narcissism, you need to have a plan for what you will accomplish in the future. Now, you could create short, medium, long-term plans, and I could easily help with that. But any way you cut it, you need to understand something. You have to control what you can control. You can't be controlled any longer from anybody at all. You now know what happens when a person gets control over another human being. The one person abuses the other person is abused, and the other person is helpless. They don't know what's happening. They're trapped. That cannot be you any longer. It certainly won't be me ever again. That's why I'm sharing with you, and you need to get this wrapped around your mind. You need to really understand this part. Controlling what you can control, it's not narcissistic. It's a fact of life. Example, I picked this spot to create this video today. I could have picked a spot 2 feet to my right, 3 feet to my left. I picked this spot and I thought it through like I always do because I want to give you a beautiful background. And you can see and hear the thunder and you can see the clouds rolling in. There's a storm approaching. And I love storms. I'm excited. I'm really excited. But I picked this strategic location. I didn't just throw a dart and say, oh, I think I'll create a video at place ABC. I picked it out. That is methodical. That's planning. You need to apply that same mindset to every single thing you do in your life. You can't be floating in an ocean without your rudder knowing which direction you're going in. Now, to tie it all together before I close the video, when the narcissist loses control, when they no longer have control over you, again, this will inflict a narcissistic injury on the narcissist. Now, again, many of you want to inflict injuries on the narcissist. I personally don't. I know, and you will eventually in time know this, that the narcissist is already getting their punishment. It's called living, because in their own mind, I'm talking about the narcissist, in their own tiny little pea brain, that's nothing but confusion, emptiness, anxiety, chaos, disruption, manipulation, and it's validation of how toxic they are. Yeah, they know what they're doing. So if you think for a minute that the narcissist doesn't know what they're doing and they're just aimless and they're the poor thing and they had a rough childhood, well, take all that, crumble it up and throw it out, throw it away. That's their problem, not yours. They took it out on you. They abused you. They trapped you. They manipulated you. They misrepresented themselves. Shame on the raging narcissists. You people are weak, pathetic, and you're gonna get what's coming to you. Not from my hands or human beings, but from a power greater than us. So that's why I'm sharing with you control. When the narcissist doesn't have control over you anymore, that's freedom, that's liberation. Now you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. This is when you can take a class, teach a class, read a book, write a book, travel the world, fall in love again. You can create a course. You can sleep in till 11 o'clock in the morning or stay up till 4 a.m. You can binge watch my videos 24/7 for the next 3 months straight. You can decide not to tune into narcissistic content any longer. You can go to the beach for a week. You can do whatever you want to do, but you have to cut the ties from the narcissist once and for all. Cut the ties. You're the only person that can do it. And you need to remember this. When you cut the ties, you're doing your part to help me and to help the planet. I've already done my part to help you. Truth of the matter is I do it every single day and I'll continue it for the next 55 years. But when you do your part, that's 2 less people the narcissist can approach. When another person does their part, on and on and on, that's why the planet's getting stronger. That's why toxicity doesn't have any place to hide. And that's why you're learning what boundaries are. Again, that's why the narcissist will never, and I mean never, have control over you ever again. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the about to be rainy Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. few things. One, this rainstorm is going to be here very soon. And I can't tell you all, if you've been with me for more than a few years, you know how much I love the elements, mainly the rain. I love it. So I'm excited about that. Haven't had a rainstorm in a while. But more importantly with you, understand something. You're going to have to cut these ties, the emotional, financial, physical, spiritual. And you need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. And I believe in you more today than I did yesterday and the day before. Because every single day I get my cup full. Every single day I get inspired. Every single day I get motivated. And every single day I pay it forward. I grow stronger and brighter. And that's what's happening with you. Remember, we are the empaths. We are the people who are targeted. And we are the strong ones. The weak one's the narcissist. The narcissist had it backwards the whole time. They tried their best to brainwash us into us thinking that we couldn't live without them. They can't live without a fuel source, but the fuel source can't be you anymore. Love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I have to beat the rain. Bye. Oh my gosh, it's gonna rain. Bye.